as I've said, today we're going to be learning about adding mixed numbers. Okay, so first of all, I want you to think about, in regards to fractions, what is a mixed number? Okay, and on the whiteboard here, I have already written 3 different fractions. So we've got 7/8, 2 3/4, and 15/9. Okay, I want you to have a think. Out of these 3 fractions, which is a mixed number? Well, hopefully you have identified that 2 3/4 is a mixed number. Okay, because it is made up of a whole number, 2 wholes, and a fraction, 3/4. Okay, and the way to kind of remember is that it's mixed. Okay, there's a bit of both. We've got a whole number and a fraction, so it's a mixed number. Okay, just as a recap, I'm wondering if we can remember what these 2 types of fractions are called also. So have a think. Well, hopefully you've identified that this 7/8 is an example of a proper fraction. Okay, and 15/9 is an example of an improper fraction. Okay, because this being a proper fraction, because the numerator is less than the denominator, meaning that the fraction is less than a whole, okay, whereas an improper fraction is more than a whole or greater than a whole because the numerator is greater than the denominator. Okay, so we're going to go through a few examples together and I'm going to do them on this whiteboard. Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to do 3 1/4 add 2 5/9. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is when we're adding fractions, I need to make sure that the denominators are the same. At the moment, my denominators are 4 and 9. Okay, so I need to convert them so that the denominators are the same. And the way that I do that is by looking for the lowest common multiple. Okay, so thinking of 4 and 9, the lowest common multiple is 36. So what I need to do is convert both fractions so that the denominator is 36. Okay, my wholes, so my 3 wholes here, stays exactly the same. When we convert fractions, we look first of all at the 2 numbers that we've got. So I've got 4 and 36, and I think, what do I do to 4? I times it by something to get to 36, and I do 4 times 9 is 36. And whatever I do to my denominator, I would do the same to my numerator. Okay, so I'm going to multiply by 9. So 1 times 9 is 9. So 3 1/4 is equivalent to 3 9/6. Okay, so that's my first fraction converted. Let's now convert 2 5/9 so that the denominator is 36. Let's have a think. What do I times 9 by to get 36? I times it by 4. Okay, now that I've times the bottom, I need to times the top, and I'm going to times it by 4 again. 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, so now that I've converted my fractions, I can now add them together. So what I'm going to do here is just write out my new mixed number calculation now that I've converted. So I'm going to do 3 9/36 add 2 20/36. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is add my wholes. So I'm going to do 3 add 2 equals 5. Okay, then I'm going to add my fractions. I've got 9/36 add 20/36. Okay, and remembering that when we add our fractions, okay, the denominator stays the same. So 9 add 20 is 29. Okay, and then what I'm going to do finally is just add back my wholes. So 5 wholes add 29/36 equals 5 and 29/36. Okay, what I need to do finally is just have a look at my mixed number and can I simplify it? Okay, can I divide 29 and 36 both by the same number? No, I can't. Okay, so my answer is 5 and 29/36. Okay, so just remembering those steps. First step, make sure that both the denominators are the same, okay, by finding the lowest common multiple. Then add my wholes, so partition the mixed number into my wholes and the fraction, add them together, okay, and then re-add them at the end and see if we can simplify. Right, let's do one more together. And then I'm going to get you to have a go. So this time we're going to have a look at 1.5 add 2 3/4. Okay, so can you remember our first step? Our first step is to convert the fraction so that the denominators are the same by looking for the lowest common multiple. So I've got 2 and 4. My lowest common multiple is 4. So that means that this mixed number, I don't need to convert. Okay, it's just my 1.5. So my 1.5, I'm going to convert, so the denominator is 4. What do I times 2 by to get 4? I times it by 2. And I now do the same to the top. 1 times 2 is 2. So 1.5 is equivalent to 1 2/4. Okay, now that my denominators are the same, I'm going to add them together. So I've now got 1 2/4 add 2 3/4. Okay, so can you remember our next step? Hopefully you're saying, it's to add the wholes together. And if you did, you are correct. I'm going to do 1 add 2 equals 3. Okay, and then I'm going to add my fractions. 2/4 add 3/4. Okay, remember when we add them, my denominator stays the same. 2 add 3 is 5. Oh, just notice my answer is 5/4. This is an example of an improper fraction. It's greater than a whole. My numerator is bigger than my denominator. So what I now need to do is convert my 5/4, okay, so that it's a proper fraction and it will be a mixed fraction. So what I do is think, how many 4s go into 5? 1. How many are left over? 1. Okay, so 5 1/4 is the same as 1 whole and 1/4. Okay, now I need to add back on my wholes that I had at the beginning. So I'm going to do my 3 wholes, add 1 1/4. Okay, which is 4 1/4. Can I simplify 4 1/4? No, it's already in its simplest form. Okay, so my answer is 4 1/4. Right, now I'd like you to get your whiteboard and whiteboard pen in front of you. Okay, and I would like you to write on your whiteboard this calculation. And we're going to do 5 5/6, add 3 5/12. Okay, what I'd like you to do now is to pause the video, have a look at the 2 mixed numbers that you have, and see which fractions you need to convert by looking for the lowest common multiple. Once you've converted the fraction, unpause the video and then we will continue. Right, let's see how you got on. So, looking at my denominators, I've got 6 and 12. Hopefully you noticed that the lowest common multiple is 12, so meaning that this fraction we don't need to convert. Hopefully you have then converted 5 5/6 into 12ths. Okay, and hopefully you then did 6 times 2 is 12. Remembering that we then do the same to the top. Okay, 5 times 2 is 10. So hopefully you managed to get 5 wholes and 10 12ths. Okay, if you didn't, pause the video, have a look at what I've done and correct your whiteboard. Now that we've converted, let's add them up together. So do it on your whiteboard as I go through. So we are now going to do 5 wholes and 10 twelfths, add 3 wholes and 5 twelfths. Okay, my next step is to add my wholes. So I've got 5, add 3, which is 8. Okay, now I'm going to add my fractions. 10 twelfths, add 5 twelfths. Okay, remembering when we add, we don't add the denominators. Okay, so now I've got 10, add 5 is 15. Can we remember what type of fraction this is? 15 twelfths. It's an improper fraction. So I now need to convert my improper fraction into a mixed number. So I've got 15 twelfths. And I'm going to think, how many 12s go into 15? I've got 1 whole. And what's left over? 3. Okay, so 15 twelfths is the same as 1 whole and 3 twelfths. So one final step that we need to do, and that's to add on my wholes. So I've got 8, add 1 and 3 twelfths, which is 9 and 3 twelfths. Okay, is this in its simplest form? The answer is no, okay, because I can divide both 3 and 12 by the same number, okay? I can divide them by 3. So what I'm now going to do is my 9 wholes, 3 twelfths, okay? I'm going to simplify by dividing by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, so the answer in its simplest form is 9 1/4. Right, one more together on your whiteboard. So wipe your whiteboard clean, please. And copy down this final calculation. So we're going to do 3 3/4, add 5 2 sevenths. What I'd like you to do this time is pause the video and work out 3 3/4, add 5 2 sevenths. Okay, remembering the steps that we've already gone through. Once you're done, unpause the video and I will go through it. So, first of all, you should have had a look at the denominators, okay, to see if they're the same. They are not the same, so that means that we know that we need to convert them, okay, by looking for the lowest common multiple of 4 and 7, which hopefully you worked out is 28. Okay, so thinking about my denominator here, which is 4, what do I times 4 by to get 28? Times it by 7, okay? Then I do the same to the top. So 3 times 7 is 21. And then my second fraction, 5 2 sevenths, what do I do to 7 to get 28? I multiply it by 4, okay? And then the same to the top. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, so now we've got our new calculation, which is 3 21 28ths, add 5 8 28ths. Okay, hopefully next you then added your wholes. So 3 add 5 is 8. And then our next step to add our fractions. So 21 28ths, add 8 28ths, and you should have got 29 28ths, okay, which is an improper fraction. So hopefully you then converted it into a mixed number by looking at how many 28ths go into 29, which is 1. What's left over? 1 28th. Okay, final step is to add on our wholes. 8 add 1 and 1 28th, giving us the answer of 9 1 28ths. Okay, if you got that, well done. If not, go back in the video and check where you went wrong. Right, now it's your turn to have a go independently. So what I have done is I've written down 4 calculations involving mixed numbers that I'd like you to have a go at independently on your whiteboard.